Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene has a warning of sorts for Fox News, and she's also taking some shots at political commentator Mark Levin in the process.
Greene and Levin have been trading blows lately over the Israel-Gaza war and U.S. overseas intervention in general. After Greene called Israel's actions in Gaza a, quote, genocide, Levin called her a, quote, lunatic with an IQ of a snail. They love using this IQ word. The, quote, Republican Party isn't going the way of Marjorie Taylor Greene or her ilk. No way.
Greene responded to Levin on a Real America's Voice show called Bowling. Let's listen.
So when Mark Levin talks about my ilk, he is insulting, I would say, most Americans in this country, Eric, and he's insulting big time people that are under the age of 40, because it's the younger generations. It's my children's generation, 22, 25, and 27, my kids, that's their ages. And those younger generations don't have a future in America because of Mark Levin and the people like him and their policies that have destroyed our country for decades now.
So Greene also called out Fox News and warned that they might be out of touch with younger Americans. Here she is.
And I would say Fox News better start paying attention. But their problem is most of the people that watch Fox News are very much up in age, the baby boomer generation, who I love. Those are my parents. But that's their biggest audience. That's not the future of America. And I know that's hard and tough talk, but the future of America is my children's generation, Eric.
Earlier in August, Greene criticized the current state of the Republican Party and hinted that her future in it was uncertain. She said, "I don't know if the Republican Party is leaving me or if I'm kind of not relating to Republican Party as much anymore. I don't know which one it is." She continued, "I think the Republican Party has turned its back on America first and the workers and just regular Americans."
Greene says she wants to continue DOGE-style initiatives, cutting foreign aid to control the debt and handle inflation. She told the Mail, however, that she feels these issues aren't necessarily front and center anymore, but still expressed her loyalty to President Trump.
All right, this is fascinating. Okay, we hinted at this earlier. We got a little bit into the coming split in the Republican Party over things like foreign intervention and the party's posture towards Israel. And Marjorie Taylor Greene just expressed basically all of those sentiments in these various interviews that she's doing. And Mark Levin, I will say, has been on one as of late. He came after me for comments.
So tell me what happened.
Show. Oh my gosh. So we talked about his past comments about Israel and Palestine on this show, and I characterized him as something of a neocon, and he didn't like that very much. So he went on his radio show and referred to me as some young woman from the Daily Caller, and called me a Neanderthal isolationist.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Yeah, he's on a tear right now because he does not like that a large portion of the Republican Party is turning against his way of thinking about foreign policy, and I'm sure that's frustrating for him. I mean, he called her, what, a lunatic with an IQ of a snail. Calm down, Mark Levin. We don't need to go to war over this.
Well, I think like Marjorie Taylor Greene, I'm having a breath of fresh air by her just being very just direct about how she feels. That is something that I've always been fascinated with. I think as people get to know me a little bit more, like I think that you should have autonomy. I vehemently disagree with people that just blindly support anything. I still see that she's very allegiant to President Trump, but has also been unafraid to be critical of him, like some of her Republican colleagues are not. And so I think that that's bold, and I actually respect that a lot. The fact that she's standing up for what the world is looking at and saying this is going extremely way too far with the way the Palestinians are being treated, understanding that she still respects the right of Israel to protect itself after being attacked, but also knowing that starvation and everything that's happening right now is not the answer. I think that she's actually just being level-headed, and what we're asking for of our politicians to be thoughtful in times where we're asking them to make decisions and rules and spend money according to how voters asked you to do that. And so to me, this is more than fascinating. It's actually admirable that that's the way that she is moving forward. But I do think when you look at Fox News, I was looking at it in the New York Times article, and their average age is 68. And so not that that's a problem. Most cable news networks.
Actually young for cable news.
Right. I'm about to say most of them are up there. But I think that's the point. You're missing, you have the swath of people who definitely are going to go vote. We know that older people are getting to those polls, right? Historically, they have a closer attachment to what it all took to get voting rights in our democracy the way it is. Their parents taught them that, right? There's a history of why it's super important. And it should be more important to young people, too, that are voting more often. But, at 18, people are doing a lot of things, right? They act so busy. But I think you still have to talk to that audience. You have to get them to vote. I remember when we were younger, there was a whole play with all the celebrities, which is maybe not the way forward. Maybe now it's influencers and podcasters, but there was like vote or die to get us engaged. MTV was all over voting. It wasn't telling you who to vote for. It was telling you to get out there and be active, civically active. And so I think that is important to, like, politicians need to understand how to talk to all people, even the people in the middle like us that are millennials or the younger people or older people. You have to talk to everyone. The Republican or Democratic Party is full of people that can vote at a certain age all the way up to the age that you pass away. So you can't just only talk to the people that are 68 plus. Otherwise, you're missing, or you might actually just lose an election. We saw that happen in the last election, right? Young people swayed, and so the Democrats lost an election. So Marjorie Taylor Greene is just being honest with what she thinks is true. And also, you have to be unafraid to break away from the loudest voices in your party. That doesn't mean they represent the most people. Technically, Joe Biden was the loudest voice in the Democratic Party, and he surely did not represent most people because that's why he lost the election.
Yeah, the MTV voting ad just gave me
Nostalgic.
so much nostalgia. Oh my gosh. And I remember even like Nickelodeon used to do those ads when I was really young. That's crazy that you just took me
Teen
back.
Summit. Don't make me get started.
Oh my
if
gosh.
You guys are as old or older than us or younger, these things should pop up on TikTok to see how we engage young people.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have the internet
Oh
in the way
my
that you do
gosh.
now.
One other thing I wanted to mention is that there's a story that broke this morning that apparently Trump and Netanyahu got in a huge shouting match, actually, over the claims of starvation in Gaza, and that Trump was really frustrated with those public interviews that they were doing with the press, where Trump was, of course, asked if he thought starvation was happening in Gaza in front of Netanyahu. And he's like, well, I see it. It's on video. I mean, what are you talking about? Netanyahu was not pleased. So apparently behind closed doors, they really got into it. And I do think Trump has expressed a lot of frustration with the way Israel's handling things. And I'm glad to hear that. I don't know that the policy has really reflected the way that he's personally feeling about his conversations with Netanyahu. But I do think there will be potentially a breaking point where Trump realizes that what is in the best interest of Israel is not always what's in the best interest of the United States.
And I've been talking about this because I'm like, Trump met, I believe, now 4 times with Netanyahu over the course of his new second presidency. And every time it's like, nothing, or not met. They met for the first time, but I'm saying on the phone. They've had multiple conversations. And then the day after the conversation, he's like bombing. He's doing something that has nothing to do with what they talked about. And so Trump's like, oh, I'm disappointed. I'm let down. And it's like, okay, CNN, I watched Anderson Cooper last night, and they played back to back of how many times Trump said in the last 7 months, oh, I'm let down. Oh, I talked to Netanyahu. It's more than I thought. I counted 4, but he's like, oh, I'm let down. I got to do something. Oh, sanctions are coming. But ultimately, nothing has happened. Nothing has really happened to Russia. And so I think, like, naturally, on the world stage, people are looking at us like, what are the repercussions? Russia does not want a nuclear war. The U.S. doesn't want a nuclear war. So let's just move that option off the table. Everybody wants to live, I'm assuming. Right? Like, so if we're starting from that place, then we have to assert some sort of, this is not our friend. This has to be a proper negotiation. And Russia can't just take all. And I think that that's where we are right now. And the American public is like, what is the strategy? We understand trying it your way, but since you tried it your way for so long, you're threatening these 50 days that turn into 10 days, and like now something's going to happen. Well, the days can't pass where nothing happens, because now you're looking like a bit of a jester in Netanyahu's court, which is not a great thing for the American people when we're so heavily tied to what's going on over there.
Yeah, and on your point about Russia and Putin, one of the things that Trump did was, after they had one of these conversations that didn't go super well regarding negotiations to end the war, Trump said something to the effect of, you don't even know what I'm holding back. And I believe it was a week later that Ukraine did that massive drone strike where the drones came out of the shipping.
Right, that's what I meant. I was saying Netanyahu. I was saying, yeah, exactly. I'm saying Putin. That's what I mean. Like, we need to make sure that he's not embarrassing our own president on an international stage, because I think like now people are getting to a conversation of what actually is, what are the threats? They're empty threats. Like, what are we going to do? And I don't want us to look like a joke when, the strategy was one thing, but now as we get into the 200-day mark, people are like, okay, there's no plan here.
I think if there's anything you can say about Trump, it's that he does not appreciate being taken advantage of or looking silly or like he's weak. So that will be one, I think, advantage as we look at these negotiations continuing, is he has the strongman persona, which may be what is needed to help wrap up these conflicts. Obviously, we'll see where it all goes.
We'll see if we can get the 3 in a room, right? If Trump says he's getting everybody in a room, we'll see if that happens.
Yeah, good luck. All right, we have a lot more to talk about on Rising. Stay with us.